Okay, great. It looks like we've got a good group here. Hello, my name is Hannah Lowry. I'm the events manager at World Trade Center Utah. World Trade Center Utah is the international arm for the state. We promote exports from Utah companies. We attract foreign investment. And just as a whole, we try to encourage and support Utah companies to engage globally. I want to introduce really quickly two of my coworkers, Jim Porter, our trade services manager, and Nicole Sherwood, our STEP grant director, who will be speaking to you later on. And then we have Jennifer Unvichin. Did I say that correctly? Perfect. Jennifer joining us from Salt Lake County. Salt Lake County is one of our great partners. They're part of our board. We love working with them, and we're so grateful to have Jennifer join us today to talk about the Small Business Impact Grant, and Nicole and Jim here talk about the STEP grant and other trade services that we offer. So without further ado, Jennifer, would you like to go ahead and jump in?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing and share my screen. Give me just a sec. Oh, hold on. It's not letting me share my screen.
Let me get that fixed for you. Okay, that should work for you now.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm here today to talk about the Salt Lake County Small Business Impact Grant that was launched about 3 weeks ago. And it's a $40 million financial aid package to help business owners that were most directly impacted by COVID-19, specifically the public health orders and subsequent closures that forced businesses to shut down for at least a period of time. The grant is funded through CARES Act funding and has been being distributed by the county to help those economic recovery efforts. So I want to start with eligibility. To be eligible for the grant, you have to be a business that's based in Salt Lake County, employ fewer than 100 employees, not have already received federal, state, or local COVID-19 financial aid. I know that there will be lots of questions about that one, so I'll go back to that one in just a minute. Provide documents verifying the financial loss, have been in operation prior to January 1st, 2020, and be a primary industry that has been identified as a direct impacted directly by the public health order. So those industries are, sorry, let me pull up my list so I don't miss one. Arts and entertainment, fitness, food service, health and wellness, independent artists or performers, recreation and tourism, personal services like salon cosmetologists, estheticians, and then tattoo and piercing studios. So you have to have a business that identifies in one of those industries and show a loss of at least $500 during the March 16th to June 16th time period. The application is available on Salt Lake County's website, which is slco.org. On the website, there are obviously a bunch of answers through our frequently asked questions, but also a step-by-step video that walks you through the application. That's super helpful because that walks through what documents we accept, what your financial numbers need to be, what financial numbers need to be demonstrated so that you can start collecting that information prior to you filling out the application. The other really great thing about the grant application process is that you can go to the county website and the first thing you'll fill out is an eligibility form, and all that requires is a name, an email, and a business name. And then you complete a questionnaire of, I believe it's 7 or 8 questions that will help determine if you're eligible for the grant. You'll get an email within a few minutes letting you know whether you're eligible or not. And if you're eligible to apply, that email will include a link that will take you to the application. So that way you're only spending the time on the application if you have met the eligibility criteria. I want to go back to that eligibility requirement of not have a business not receiving federal, state, or local COVID financial aid. This is specific to CARES Act funding. So if you are a business that has not received PPP, EIDL, commercial real estate assistance, then you would be eligible. If you've been denied or if you declined to accept the funding, you are also eligible. So what will make you ineligible at this point is if you are pending. They will put your application in a holding pattern until you receive a decision letter, or if you have been approved and accepted any funding. So that's kind of the overall program. The grant amount will be the lesser of the demonstrated loss, up to $35,000. So, and of course, because they're grants, they don't need to be repaid. A couple of other unique things to know are independent contractors and sole proprietors are also eligible to apply. We also are providing some limited language services through the hotline and online. So the FAQs are available in Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, and Vietnamese, as well as receiving that language assistance through the hotline, which is open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And you can see the number is listed down here. It's 385-468-4011. And there's our staff, the hotline staff is amazing. They are helping applicants literally walk through the application if needed, but also they're able to help with a lot of questions in terms of documentation, filling out the grant spend, figuring out the loss amounts, those types of things. So if you have any questions, they're a super great resource. That's kind of the basic. Are we doing questions now? Sorry, Hannah, do you want me to answer anything now, or?
Yeah, just a few questions.
Yeah.
So one, just can you repeat the primary industries? And we'll send these out to everybody later, but just so that people can remember them. Can you repeat those?
Yes, of course. So it's arts and entertainment, which would include event centers, galleries, museums, theaters, fitness facilities like gyms, swimming pools, yoga studios, that type of thing. Food service, health and wellness, so medical spas, massage therapy, independent artists or performers, recreation and tourism, salon, cosmetologist, or esthetician. So we're considering those personal services, and then tattoo or piercing studios.
Great. And is this loan only available to businesses in the Salt Lake County?
Yeah, so it's a grant, just for clarification.
Sorry, one word.
Yeah. But yes, it is only eligible. The business must be based in Salt Lake County.
Great. And do you know if other counties such as Weber County or other surrounding counties have similar programs?
I don't know off the top of my head. My guess is yes, but I won't speak to that.
Okay, great. That's all we have for now question-wise, but we'll have some more at the end of this webinar. Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Perfect.
And then we can pass it over to Jim.
Thank you, Hannah. Hannah, are you working the slides? Or Nicole, is that you? in any case, while we're waiting for, oh, here we go. While we're waiting for those slides to pull up, before we move on from talking about that, the Salt Lake County's grant, I think a little bit of perspective could help here. World Trade Center Utah for the past few months has been working with the Economic Response Task Force to try to help businesses across the state of Utah take advantage of the CARES Act funding that's been made available, in addition to the disaster loan funding that was made available through the SBA. And one of what I noticed as we helped companies through these processes is just the number of companies that were falling through the cracks, not just from through the cracks of the PPP loan or the EIDL program, but also through the commercial rental assistance program, through DWS's support for other businesses or independent contractors here in the state of Utah. I think we can't say enough how important it is that Salt Lake County is using these funds to try to help the businesses that Jennifer just listed, because so many of them still need the help on an ongoing basis, because as we've seen, COVID-19 isn't necessarily going anywhere anytime soon. So I'd encourage you all to reach out to Jennifer. If you're not in need of the grant program that's offered through Salt Lake County, my guess is one of your business friends or colleagues may be. Please share the word out far and wide to other Salt Lake County businesses about the opportunity here. So I'm Jim Porter. As Hannah mentioned, I'm the Trade Services Manager at World Trade Center Utah. All that really means is I'm here to help Utah companies find international sales opportunities and execute on those opportunities. So it's been my job for the last few years to reach out, to meet many of you, to talk to you about your businesses, to understand your needs, and to help you come up with plans for taking advantage of international growth. In Utah, we're in a pretty special place, and this is especially true of Salt Lake County, in that we have a large number of small businesses who export. Utah small businesses export actually more in goods than any other state in the Western United States, except for Washington and California, huge states, right? So Utah's small businesses are especially integrated into the global economy. And those of you who do export or import are probably keenly aware that that COVID-19 has been even more volatile disruption on the international stage than it has been here in the United States, and especially here in Utah, where we've done a relatively better job of managing the outbreak. So what I want to do is talk to you just briefly about what World Trade Center can do for your businesses. As Hannah already mentioned, World Trade Center leads Utah's international business development and elevates Utah's global status. We're here to kind of lead on all things international for the state. And so part of that means helping Utah companies to export, as we already said. Hannah, would you move to the next slide? Perfect. And so we do this through a number of different programs, and I'm not going to take a long time to chat through these because Nicole has I think the better part of the presentation. She's going to talk to you about our grant programs. But if you're a company who either is exporting now and is feeling the disruptions of COVID-19, or don't know where you're going to find more sales and want to look to international markets to find those, World Trade Center Utah can help you get from zero to one in that respect. And we do that through the training programs that we offer to help companies understand what it takes to export, if they're ready to export, how to approach foreign markets, how to manage risks as you do that, financing opportunities, logistics issues, you name it. We can provide training to help you understand what it really takes. We can also provide research to help you discover the opportunities internationally, how you might be able to find a demand outside the United States for your products and services. Additionally, we can help you with market entry planning, figuring out how you might price your product or pursue marketing and sales promotion opportunities, what distribution channels may be available to you, how to create contracts that are internationally binding and enforceable, and also how to adjust your products for an international audience. From there, once you have a plan with us, you can take advantage of our grant programs. As I mentioned, Nicole's going to talk in more depth about the STEP program. But it really is a fantastic program for companies who want to pursue international business development activities. It can help you de-risk and manage cash flow better for participating in what can sometimes be expensive excursions. Additionally, you can come with a World Trade Center Utah to a trade show across the. We attend a number of trade shows across the world every year. We typically host Utah booths at these shows that companies can participate in. We also organize the governor's trade missions to various markets throughout the year. And so as you look for opportunities to grow your business in the wake of the disruption of COVID-19, you could think about taking advantage of some of the B2B matchmaking programs that are available as part of these opportunities. Or think about how coming with the governor on a trade mission could get you special access to a regulator or to a business that you otherwise might not have been able to access. Like I said, I don't want to take a long time to talk in depth about these, but I do want to suggest to everyone that that going global is something that you can do more easily than you thought. And secondly, that if you've been thinking about going global, that you really ought to find partners who can help you. There's no reason to do it alone. And especially right now, while there's so much uncertainty, having a partner or a friend in your back pocket who can help you handle some of these issues, who can help you find new markets for your products, or to help you ride the wave of COVID-19, if you will, into the future. There's no one better than World Trade Center Utah to help you to do that. So with that brief overview of what we can provide, I want to turn the time over to Nicole Sherwood, who on top of being our operations director, manages the STEP grant program, directs the STEP grant program, I should say. A fantastic colleague and someone that you should all get to know. Nicole, take it away.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here today to tell you about the STEP grant. So just to start, here's my contact information. If after you have any questions about the STEP grant or any of our other opportunities at World Trade Center Utah. So at this point, many will ask during economic uncertainty, how can, my business go international? And some things to look at are, 1, how can I strengthen my brand? 2, how can I increase my online presence? 3 is planning a strategy for your business's future. 4, reevaluating your current finances. And 5, what you're doing here today is checking out all available resources. So in order to do this, we actually have the grants that Jim mentioned to help financially support doing those different steps.
And then I'll share it.
The first one is, as Jim mentioned, is our state trade expansion program, and that's through the U.S. Small Business Administration. And then the second is our Rural Business Development Grant, and that one is more for those businesses in rural Utah where we hold export boot camps, where Jim goes out to those different areas and holds those. But my focus today will be on the STEP grant. So how can you use the STEP grant? These are the main areas. The first one, we do go on the governor-led trade missions. There's usually 2 per year. Because of traveling restrictions, they've actually been moved online. So we offer those free through World Trade Center Utah. Our upcoming ones include India. We have one to Canada as well as Australia, so look for those. There are also opportunities where you might be able to participate in a virtual one. If there's a cost to that, the STEP grant can help cover those costs. And so look out for those, as well as when I'm going to stay optimistic. When we start traveling again on those trade missions, the STEP grant can help cover those costs as well. And as Jim mentioned, we do go on to trade shows. Most of those are focused on industry. So we have gone to different outdoor shows, as well as life science shows, and aerospace and defense shows. We are currently looking at our calendar for the upcoming year. So STEP grants can be used for those. Right now, we've turned to a virtual setting. A lot of these trade shows that we've attended in the past and will in the future, they've gone virtually. If you're interested in participating in one of those shows, the STEP grant can help cover those participation fees and registration fees. So it's a great option if you're interested in maybe getting your feet wet, to sign up for one of those and apply for a STEP grant to help cover those. And then when traveling opens up, to be able to go do that. The STEP grant can also cover international export-led trips. Again, as international travel opens up, we'd want you to take advantage and use the STEP grant for that. Right now, a lot of the focus is on our financial assistance awards, which I encourage small businesses to apply for so that you can get a great plan, get your brand out there right now, and then when travel restrictions open up, you're ready to go and you've accomplished all of these, laid the groundwork for going international. So the STEP grant will cover compliance testing of a product, international shipping, design of marketing media, market research, and a popular one is if you're looking to redo your website, website optimization, as well as translation. So a couple things with the STEP grant. Who is eligible? We're looking for small businesses headquartered in Utah. So if you're a small business, it will cover both if you have products or services, so that's great. Some people might ask, what's the catch? There is a 25% match requirement. That doesn't mean that you cut a check or anything. It just means that if you receive an award, 25% of the cost has to be contributed by the company. And then the reporting requirements, we just want to see how you did with the international activity. So we do a couple surveys and then we follow up 2 years after the award year. And the really great news is the application is currently open. It's on our website. There's no fee to apply. You don't have to do it in one sitting. You can start it and come back to it. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself or my colleague Jim or anybody at World Trade Center Utah. And we also have, so those were our main grant programs. We also work with different agencies with our national resources. Here are a couple that we work with. At the bottom, there is a website where you can find out more information about opportunities with these different agencies and the contacts for each. So I encourage you, if you don't go the grant route, there are other supporting opportunities right here. And then additional resources, World Trade Center Utah holds webinars, different trainings, both online and hopefully in the near future in person. We have our upcoming trade missions and then other events. So please check out our website, and I encourage you to go there and sign up for our newsletter as well up at the top, so you'll know what we're doing. Also, as Jim mentioned at the beginning, there are business resources, and I encourage businesses to go check out this for additional resources, and then working with partners such as Salt Lake County. So yeah. If you have any questions, I encourage you. It's easy. Please apply for a STEP grant. And thank you for your time today.
Hannah, before we jump into question and answer, can I make a few comments on the back of Nicole's presentation there? So some of you might have been wondering, am I a small business? With small businesses are the ones who can apply. The standard there is the SBA standard. So to understand how generous that standard is, if any of you listening to the webinar today have 500 employees or less, you're probably a small business by SBA standards. So there's a lot of leeway under there for larger mid-market companies to come in and take advantage of those opportunities. So I would suggest that you do reach out to Nicole to find out if you're eligible. You very well may be. The second point I wanted to make is that there are really incredible resources, maybe more resources for businesses that are looking to expand internationally than there are for businesses who are looking just to do business in the region or in the US. One of the partners or national resources that Nicole mentioned was the US Commercial Service. Shelby Dyack is located here in Salt Lake City with the Utah Export Assistance Center, U.S. Export Assistance Center, right here right in they're not in the federal building yet downtown, but they will be soon. In any case, the U.S. Commercial Service has officers in embassies all over the globe whose job it is to help U.S. businesses to break into those markets. And typically there's a cost associated with a lot of the services that they have, from the counseling that they do, to the B2B matchmaking that they do, to the due diligence that they can perform on potential customers or partners. A lot of various services that they offer. Right now, those services are free. So if you are thinking, man, to help my business get through COVID-19, it would be great if I could get some more buyers in Canada, right? If I could explore that option. Right now, we can help you get connected, depending on the embassy, right? They're going to yay or nay your project, but very most likely, you could reach out right now and say, hey, I'm in the oil and gas industry, or I'm in whatever industry. Is there an opportunity for me to meet potential distributors or customers in Canada? The answer is probably yes at this point. So right now, and that's just through June 30th. So there's a small window right now in which you can take advantage of some free services being offered the U.S. Commercial Service. And if you pair that with getting a STEP grant, you could probably put together a pretty powerful campaign for growing your international sales during a time when we're all kind of wondering what the demand side of our businesses is going to look like in Q3 and Q4.
And Jim, jumping off of that, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that Shelby said that you just have to have the application in by June 30th. It doesn't actually have to be done by then, right, for it to be free?
Yeah, that's right. So you just need to have called up Shelby and got a project started with her before June 30th to sneak in that window.
Perfect. A few more questions that we have for you guys. I don't know if Jennifer's still there, but Jennifer and Nicole, this question is for you. For these grants, I know, Nicole, you kind of touched on it. Do you have to pay back these grants or have the cash match?
But for the Salt Lake County, no, you don't. So long as you can document your planned spend for the grant. So there will be a reporting period, which ends on September 30th. So you need to spend your grant allocation by then, and then be able to document that.
Great.
Yeah, and for the STEP grant, there is a matching requirement. What that means is, for example, if your business received, for example, $3,000 for an award for, let's say, website optimization, there would be a $1,000 matching requirement. So we'd have to see that you spent $4,000 on that website optimization, and then that $3,000 would be the award amount. So, but you don't cut us a check or anything. We just want to see that you put it towards the activity, that matching requirement.
Great. How much do people usually get with these grants?
So we're still in like kind of the initial approval process, but we're seeing anywhere from 10 to the max of 35. Yeah. So really the key to the Salt Lake County grant is making sure that you have the correct documents that are evidencing your loss and for the correct time period. So that's there's a very detailed list in the FAQs and within the application. So more documents is better. I know, I don't know when that's not the case, but it's definitely the case here. So, and what's great is the application reviewers will follow up with applicants if they are missing documents or there's something not quite matching up, so that you have more than one bite at the apple.
And in regards to the STEP grant, you can actually receive up to $10,000 in a given year. Mostly the awards that are given out are between $2,000 to $4,000. So for example, if you did compliance testing, you may receive an award for $4,000, and then one for design of marketing media, another $4,000, and then shipping $2,000. So you up to that $10,000. So $10,000 in a given year.
Great. And then when are applications due for these grants?
So Salt Lake County is open. It opened on June 16th, but it will remain open so long as funds are available. So apply sooner than later, but it'll be open for a minute.
And for the STEP grant, the application is currently open. It's on a rolling basis and will be open. The activity has to take place before September 30th, 2020. So it is a competitive grant. So the sooner you get in the application, the better.
So on the back of what Nicole said there, if you're thinking about using a STEP grant, plan to have spent the money towards whatever activity you're going to use a STEP grant for before September 30th. If it's after September 30th, you're not going to get approved.
Great. With these grants, I know, Jennifer, you kind of talked about this, and I believe you said that if you have received PPP funding and used it, you're not eligible for the SBIG grant.
Right. At this point, yeah, you're not eligible. So what Jim pointed out that I so eloquently missed was that the SBIG grant really is targeting those businesses that kind of fell through the cracks with PPP or EIDL or the rental assistance. The one other thing I realized, a big point that I missed, was that in your grant spend and in your grant calculation for loss, you can include COVID related costs. So those would not have been part of your normal operating procedure prior to COVID, but you can include them. So things like PPP or PPE, excuse me, and social distancing equipment, that type of thing, can now be included in either your planned grant spend, or if you've already spent the money, it can be calculated in your expenditures to calculate your loss.
Great. And Nicole, does PPP affect STEP grant at all?
No, so STEP grant is its own grant. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you've received any other grant. So STEP grant's on its own.
Great. And Nicole, this one is also for you. Are the STEP grants post-performance? For example, if you had a $4,000 cost, could you claim the $3,000 as a reimbursement for costs already spent, or does it have to be you receive the cost before you receive the grant before you spend the money? Does that make sense?
With the STEP grant, because there is a process through the application, we don't go retroactive. It would have to be moving forward. So you would fill out the application, get approved, and then go through the process in that direction. So nothing retroactive.
And then to finish that up, after you had completed whatever activity you'd applied for, that's when you get reimbursed. So yes, it is a post-activity reimbursement grant. Got
you. Great. And with that, because we've talked about how difficult it is to travel right now, what are some ways that people can use these grants from their homes, from their offices, without having to go to a trade show? What are some other options for using the STEP grant?
Right. So right now, a lot of great options are participating in a virtual trade show or participating in a virtual trade mission, as well as if you've been holding off doing, website optimization, putting money towards your website, or else design of marketing media, that can be pretty broad. So anywhere from brochures, we've had companies make videos. So really, in your marketing department, that's a great way to use it so that when travel opens up. Also with compliance testing, or if you're shipping any sample products internationally before you can get there. So those are some great ways to use it by sitting in your office.
Yeah. In a very general sense, companies that had a strong e-commerce presence or that were selling via Amazon or other web retail platforms prior to COVID-19, in the most general sense, have done well during COVID-19. E-commerce broadly has been increasing, not only in the United States, but around the world. And which is just an acceleration of a trend that was already occurring. So one of the easiest, most simple ways you could use a STEP grant, as Nicole said, is for optimizing your website for international visitors, internationalizing your website, building new websites for markets that you want to focus in, designing digital marketing media, and other activities like that can help you do business, get new sales, find new revenue during a time when you may not always be able to meet people face to face, and importantly during a time when we don't know into the future how COVID-19 is going to affect us, how long we're going to be in this state. E-commerce seems like a really strong way that you can use a STEP grant to grow your business.
That's great. Jim, this question's kind of for you and anyone else who can answer it, but just with your role that you played in the rapid response team helping out with PPP loans. Someone's asking if there are any other grants available besides the STEP grant that someone who qualified for and received the PPP can apply for now.
There are a lot of different grant programs. World Trade Center's Rural Development Grant and the STEP grant are kind of ongoing. They were here before COVID-19. They'll be here after COVID-19. So depending on your eligibility, you should be able to apply for those. Most other grants that I see that are kind of ongoing and not related to PPP fall in that same category, right? So if you're a small business with an innovative new technology or idea, you can go after CIBR grants. Those grants have been around for a long time, and they'll be around for a long time. And those are opportunities for you. Generic business grants or generic, more maybe less directed. That's a good way of saying it. Less directed grants. The ones that you're seeing now are typically funded through CARES Act funding, are related specific to COVID-19, and thus are more likely to come with the stipulation that you haven't received other CARES Act assistance.
One thing, sorry, I just wanted to add to that. For the Salt Lake County grant, I know that there's a lot of financial relief opportunities that have been popping up. So if you've received something and you don't know if it was a fall down from CARES Act, there's a place on the eligibility form to list additional funding that you received. So if you're not sure if it was CARES, you can list that, and our review team will contact you if there's an issue. So
great, that's super helpful. Thank you. Nicole and Jim, do you know of any trade shows that cover heavy industries such as mining and oil and gas, or what kind of trade show that would fall under?
There are so many trade shows in oil and gas, mining, in lots of heavy industries. World Trade Center Utah doesn't always attend those shows or host a Utah booth at those shows. But what you need to do if you're interested in any of those, let me suggest a few steps. First, you can reach out to me. My email was in the presentation. It's jporter, P-O-R-T-E-R, @WTCUtah.com. And if you want to find out about trade shows in your industry, you can reach out and I'll help you figure out which ones might be a good fit. Once you've identified some trade shows that might be valuable for you, then you talk to Nicole. You'd ask Nicole if it's an eligible activity, if the STEP grant will pay for it. Assuming it will, then you apply for a STEP grant and you're on your way.
That's great. And Nicole, if you're previously approved for a STEP grant related to a trade mission, which was canceled or postponed, can you apply again for a new STEP grant for some of the other activities that you were mentioning earlier?
Yes, and I definitely encourage you to contact me, and I'm happy to work with you to see how flexible, we're really flexible in figuring out how those funds could be put to good use.
Okay, that's great. I'm not seeing any other questions right now. Do you guys have any last thoughts that you want to share before we wrap things up?
I just want to thank Salt Lake County for being our partner to get the word out about these programs and for putting on a program like this. I don't need to repeat myself earlier, but there are so many businesses who still need the support and the help. For those of you listening today, if you need the support and help, please reach out. If you know other business owners, please let them know about these programs. The better you can help us get the word out, the better we'll be able to support people during what is a pretty disruptive time for Utah and the US more broadly. We want to help you. We're a window into lots of different resource partners. So if you have questions about how to bring your employees back safely, or if you're a manufacturer, how to revamp your operations to keep people as socially distant as possible while they're manufacturing or in process. If you have questions about, if you're a daycare and have questions about how you can get assistance, or if you're interested, if you need unemployment, you name it, we're a window to you into all the various resources that are available. So please reach out. It's what we're here for. It's why we have these jobs, is because we want to help small business owners across the state to thrive. And right now, thriving really just means surviving through the next, hopefully not too much longer, but to survive for what could be a long time coming. That's a bad way of saying the COVID-19 could be with us for a while. We want to help you out. Please contact us.
Great. Thank you guys so much. Jennifer, thank you. We appreciate all that you and Salt Lake County have done to help partner with us and collaborate with us. Nicole and Jim, thank you so much for your insights as well. To all who have attended today, I will be sending out this recording to you guys. I will be including any resource that we talked about with links to access them, along with email addresses. So please look out for that email. We are really just so glad that you guys came. We want to help you guys, and we look forward to meeting with you later. Have a great evening. Bye.